So we begin the bulletin with a shocking revelation of inefficiencies in the energy sector that will plunge the country into power rationing amidst overflowing power generation dams. So in the wake of a series of blackouts in the last 3 months, it has now emerged that the country's power transmission network is unstable and cannot cope with excess generation during peak hours. While attributing the nationwide power outage to system failure, Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir warned Kenyans to brace for power rationing as a way of mitigating overloading of the transmission lines. Chirchir, who admitted that the power outage was a shame to the country, says they have restored power to almost all parts of the country.
Welcome to Africa. Welcome to Nairobi.
Following more than 18 hours of power outage in the country for the 4th time in the last 9 months, Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir held a closed-door meeting with the management of Kenya Power, KETRACO and KenGen to deliberate on the steps to be taken to deal with frequent cases of power blackouts, which continues to affect economic activities. The Cabinet Secretary attributed the Sunday night blackout to an overload on the Kisumu-Muhoroni power line, which led to a sudden increase in power flow on the Juja-Lesos-Muhoroni link, leading to overload at Olkaria 2 transformers and Dandora-Juja transmission link.
Yesterday was caused by an overload between Kisumu, Moroni, when there was sudden demand, and the line that between Kisumu and Moroni is dimensioned to carry 80 megawatts. When the line went down, it was carrying 120 megawatts, and suddenly there was a demand of an additional 20 megawatts on that line.
Chirchir, who experienced the disruption caused by the power outage firsthand at JKIA last night, says 60% of Kenyans connected to the national grid were reconnected to electricity after 5 hours, with those in Nairobi, northeastern and coast regions waiting until Monday morning when they were reconnected.
I experienced firsthand the anger because I was at the airport when the belt stopped, and therefore we could not get our luggages. The generator did not take off immediately, and it's a challenge that, as a country, we are really ashamed of, and we need to address it.
As part of the mitigation measures to deal with the frequent blackouts in areas affected by network instability, the ministry is to release a power rationing schedule Thursday.
We are working with the engineering team to see the mitigation measures to be able to reduce that, including load shedding certain pockets of the regions which are demanding so much power and therefore overloading the links. The load shedding, yes, it means power rationing. If we load shed today in Sotik, we load shed tomorrow in Bomet, we load shed the following day in Kigali. So it will be really limited load shedding to address the challenge we have.
However, the CS says the power rationing is a short-term measure to deal with the challenge, as the ministry is fast-tracking on construction of Narok-Bomet 132 kilowatt completion of Sondu, Ndiwa 132 kV power lines to deload Kisumu, Muhoroni Chemusit power line construction of a new 132/33 kV substation at Sondu.
We know where the problem is, and we are addressing those challenges. It's bound to happen again, but we will look at serious maintenance. But the gist of it is lack of investment in the network for a long time.
The ministry says it needs $5.3 billion to do a master plan that will ensure the country has sufficient energy supplies against $250 million, which they have received from African Development Bank and World Bank, which will be used to construct key power lines in Rift Valley, Central and Coast regions.